Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Safari Mack Explores North America. I'm Safari Mack, your guide and host, helping you make connections to the wild. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you I am glad to be back home from vacation in the beautiful state of Illinois, but now we are back in beautiful San Francisco, California, hanging out with the sea lions of Pier 39. That is the California sea lion, or known by their Latin name of Zalaphus californius. Now, if you want to learn more about my vacation during the previous week, be sure to check out some special posts that I will put not only on my YouTube channel, but also on my Facebook account. So therefore, with that said, if you're new to my channel, hit that like and subscribe button so you can check out special content. Check out my Facebook page for not only the upcoming posts, but also special conservation tips and projects that you can do in your backyard, as well as updates from projects all over the world. And finally, if there's an animal that you would like me to do in the future, or if you have a question about some of the animals that we've done previously on Safari Mack, all you have to do, send me an email, which you will always find the address down in the description below. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's dive into the wild things about the California sea lion. For starters, we already knew that these guys were excellent swimmers, but do you know how they're able to dive so deep? That's because of their high tolerance of carbon dioxide in the water. Because of this, they can hold their breath from anywhere from 8 to 20 minutes and dive to a depth of nearly 900 feet. Try beating that record. Now, here's a little something about mother's milk. Have you ever heard of the term milk like mayonnaise? If anything, I can tell you that the California sea lion and many other different seals of this group have earned that title. Why is that, though? That's because for seals and sea lions, the milk is supposed to be very, very rich. In fact, it is actually considered to be 35% fat. So because of this high fat content, the pups, they grow super quick. In fact, they need this fast growth for as soon as the females have bred with the male and have weaned off the babies, they need, mom takes off, but the babies will be exposed to the cold water. And so instead of having a nasty shock, this will be a nice gentle ease as their blubber reserves will begin to develop. Now, here's a cool thing you probably know about. You know probably how dolphins have been used by military, right, for special purposes? Well, California sea lions too. In fact, the Navy's Marine Mammal Program actually uses both dolphins and sea lions to detect, locate, recover objects, and give warnings to people that are either manned or unmanned at surface or subsurface vessels. Next, these guys are known to, as their name implies, sea lions are known for two things: their loud roar, and males being able to grow a little bit of a mane around their neck. The roar is basically how these guys kind of got their nickname of sea lion. They're not really related to lions, but the mane kind of looks a little fun. And of course they have that loud roar, which makes you say, let's not mess with this guy. Now let's get, unfortunately, into some of the threats and challenges that these guys face. Thankfully, today, they are classified as least concern, but they are vulnerable to pollution, conflicts with humans, especially in terms of fishing vessels and fishermen, and marine debris. Now, California sea lions were hunted a lot, but thankfully their numbers have recovered. Unfortunately, this sea lion, which was the Japanese sea lion, is declared extinct. Now, and here's some of the other problems that they're facing right now. As I've mentioned, marine pollution is just a really big issue that needs to be addressed, like right there, or more like yesterday. Another problem that these guys face, and not just California, but all over the world for seals and sea lions, entanglement in fishing line, fishing net, and fishing gear, as sometimes they can have deep hooks embedded deep into their skin. This causes major conflicts for the fishermen, as well as problems for these animals, because with that tight rope around their neck, you can imagine that it's incredibly painful. And thankfully, though, there are people working to try and help these animals. In fact, there's actually a YouTube channel that showcases how they've rescued many different seals and sea lions off the coasts of Africa that catch these seals that are in critical condition and do a quick kind of removing of the net and rope around their sensitive skin. But there's more problems. Unfortunately, now we all love these animals. I mean, we don't want to harm them, right? Unfortunately, us getting too close is considered to be a bit of a major problem for these animals because they're feeling disturbed and stressed. This means that potentially next year they may not come back to the beaches to rest or to give birth. So that's a bit of a problem. Another major problem is overfishing of their food sources. Now, you probably remember last week how I mentioned to you all that these guys eat herring, anchovies, and other kind of special kinds of fish, right? Now, studies have shown with the depletion of certain fish, like anchovies or sardines, they're having to eat other fish prey items, such as squid. Now, that's okay, but these guys, this is kind of like where they get like a lot of their nutrition and protein from. Squid is more like water to them. So only getting water, but not the nourishment, not the protein or the carbohydrates or the fats, that's damaging to the seals and sea lions and makes them even weaker than what they were before. Now, there are ways that we can all coexist with these animals. First of all, because these guys are protected by the Marine Mammal Protection Act, you cannot go near these animals. Just observe them from a faraway distance and just bring a pair of binoculars. It's more fun this way because you get to see how they behave and how they interact with each other without having to disturb them or make them feel stressed enough to where they might even turn and attack you. That's right. Don't mistake these guys for pushovers. These animals can attack you. So just always, with any wild animal, keep your distance. You do that, everything will be okay. And you also won't get in trouble with the law. Another problem that I forgot to mention, remember how I said back on the beaches that the people are getting a little too close? So are dogs, unfortunately. And this can cause conflict, not just for the seals, but for the pets as well. So always keep your pets on a leash. Just do not let them try to go near it. You always got to keep them away. If you happen to see an injured seal or a sea lion, do not approach it yourself. Instead, I've provided for those living on the West Coast the phone number that you can call to let people know that there's an injured animal or even that there's a dead animal. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Why not just let the animal kind of go, wither away? I mean, it's just, if it's already dead, it's just a circle of life. If you call these people, you're actually helping contribute to the species because they can figure out exactly how the animal died and other changes that we need to make to ensure that these animals don't suffer a major loss in their populations. Finally, we just need to be more careful about how we fish with these creatures because they were here first, and we don't need to overfish a certain species. Of course, though, it is a lot easier said than done. And we'll get a little bit into more of that next week with next week's animal. For that, though, this is my cue to let you know. Thank you all for joining me this weekend with California Sea Lion 2. And I also would like to give a very special shout out and thanks to all of my viewers and all of my subscribers for helping me reach over 10,000 views of my channel so far. And I am so close to getting 100 subscribers. Let's make that push. Tell people about my series. If you love nature, share my content. With that said, folks, thank you for joining me. Join me next week as we go to Atoria, Oregon for a very special mammal and one that I've been wanting to do for a long time since the beginning of Safari Mack, the killer whale. But until next week, this is Safari Mack. I'll see you all out there.